Let's make sure I got my audio right. They like to do some funky stuff. Oh, okay. Hey, yo, we got the audio right. What's up? What up? What up? What up? Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get right over to it. I don't even need these right now. I'm done with reactions for a little bit. I'll probably do some more later on. All right. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. I am going to go over OEOS and all of the alerts that are coming through when it's all said and done. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and pull it up. All right, so a couple of things that I got on my watch list for this week as I screen for certain trades and everything else. MSTR, Roku has been on a bit of a tear. This thing is just going right to the upside, and I'm very curious on where it lands from there. Okta looks good. Home Depot, I think it's consolidated just a little bit. Probably could get us some more upside over here. If the tech sector rotation is actually coming in and we start to go really down to the downside, there's a strong possibility we could get some rotations in things like a Home Depot and some others. Meta is pulling back, which again, I've talked about how I think this is overvalued, same as Tesla, as Microsoft, and all of them are kind of like following suit. This does look like a bear flag. Maybe. All right, CVX, oil, and with them talking about, oh, we're getting close to, well, they did it last time, but we're getting close to some sense of a treaty or some type of peace talks or whatever with Iran. This will have an adverse effect on oil, which means CVX can come down. Market is very interesting with materials. This is where your gold, silver, copper, aluminum, and everything is there. Probably going to have a very interesting impact inside of the market based on certain parameters there, because if we start to get a pullback in tech, we usually get a pullback also in the materials as we go into safer spaces like bonds, for example. But if we start to see gold really is right there, so from a currency standpoint, we're probably still dealing with a weaker dollar, which makes them fly into your commodities like your gold. Anyways, let's keep this going. XLC, I think communication does need a little bit of a cool down to pull back. If you don't know, Take-Two is going to go ahead and release their new Grand Theft Auto, so that plays a factor in there. Disney is not doing too hot right now. Fox is in the mix, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But check out the top 10 and put a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are with the holdings there. XLK, of course, is coming down. Is it still a bull flag? We talked about this in Magnus JD, where we kind of talked about what are the aspects, what we could be looking for, and everything else. If you haven't subscribed over to that channel, I do suggest you check it out. That's where I'm going to be posting a lot of thoughts and theses and everything else. And over here, it's nothing but alerts and live trading when it's all said and done. And since they're making things difficult, I might turn this into live and alerts. That is a very good concept. Instead of me making alerts alone. Yeah, that might be the way. Anyways, moving on. Costco. Costco, there's in a bit of a pullback. I do think it's a little overvalued for the most part, but not overvalued like a Meta, right? I think they do everything relatively well. I think people want it above 1,000, but I think it needs to come down just a little bit further. Allow some new supporters to come in so that way they can be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor and get it back over to 1,000. So don't be surprised if it comes down. Google has had their earnings. It basically responded very adversely because guess what they're talking about? They're talking about capital expenditures, and investors are getting tired of that rhetoric. Coming down to NVIDIA, NVIDIA is the leader in the space. I think they need that pullback as well. We're probably going to get some more. Walmart is technically tech, right? Oh, actually, hold on. Let me make sure I got all my charts. Of course, I don't have that there. Hold on. Let me fix this problem real quick. There's that. Where did I put you? Oh, that's where it is. Okay. Let's fix that problem. All right. There are considered somewhat tech, and because they're one is because of the channels, right? They're very close to what Amazon is, and then they're putting a lot of upgrades inside of their stores, like the tracking of the prices, and they can do dynamic pricing and everything else. So a lot of investors are going over to Walmart in that regard because there is some opportunities there. So I'm very curious on how it responds. That's on my 1 month. 1 week we got XLI. I think industrials is going to be another safe haven for people that rotates out of tech, even though they have some tech exposure. Same as XLV. We're about to go into open enrollment. There's a reason why we're powering up like that. Bloom Energy, with data centers and everything else. Companies like this is going to get a little bit of a pullback if the data centers are not going to start to come online, or there's a scale back on infrastructure building for the data centers. That's probably why we're dealing with a little bit of a pullback here. All right, Eli Lilly, I think it needs to come down, right? But again, this is a strong ticker. I am not going to short with your money, all right? I'm just going to short with my money. We're just going to go ahead and let Eli Lilly do what it does until it gives us a very clean opportunity to the upside. But for the most part, if you're invested into Eli Lilly, especially when it was down at that 800, 900 level, congratulations on your W. Taiwan Semiconductors, again with the semis, they're probably going to be coming down. I did miss my entry on this one. There was something that showed up on the 2 hour. Very impactful move, very strong. We'll probably get a little bit of a consolidation, and then we'll probably get the party started to the downside some more. Probably take out that wick on that regard. So very interesting to see what happens. Maybe we get TSM to like 350. That could be a good price to invite some new buyers and give it a little bit of gumption and buoy it so that way it doesn't completely collapse on its own weight. All right, let's go ahead and talk about VG. This is Venture Global. This came into my radar because of a good friend, and I'm very curious on what it does. So we're going to go ahead and see if it gives us some strong signal. So far, it gave us one, and it's dropped ever since, which is that rejection at that $16, which we are going to go over in a little bit. So let's go ahead and switch this up. So I got my OEOS somewhere, wherever it is. Somewhere out there. Let's put you right there. Yeah, it's disabled. I'm gonna have to do it again. Reset it. Bang. All right, so I got my OEOS over here on the side. We're gonna be keeping an eye on that. Oh, actually, I did reject this one. We're not gonna go ahead and do that one. Let's get out of the way. And what I want to do today is kind of go over some of the trade ideas along the way over here, right? I'm going to go ahead and make it make sense overall so that way you can be able to see what is happening here. Actually, I'm going to tweak this a little bit. Let's move you over here. And that way I can see ya, and we're gonna put you up here. All right, perfect. Now I can disable and enable when I need it. All right, perfect. So we got everything set up the way we want. Let's get that. Let's go ahead and talk about Microsoft. All right, so Microsoft, when it's all said and done, what is OEOS telling us? It is telling us that we have ourselves an opportunity to the downside, and you can see the market has been pulling back quite a bit. What time is it? Okay, so we got a little bit. We'll probably wrap up in like 15 minutes. That way I don't make this a long video. This is a pinky bot, so we're going to go ahead and go message that as a pinky bot. All right. This is going to be high risk, especially that it looks like we've been running for a while. Suggestion 0821 2026, and we're going to be looking for the 350 put options more than likely. That's probably going to have a high. We're not going to make it premium. We're going to go ahead and give it to the people. If you haven't joined the Discord, link is inside the description. Go ahead and join your buy. All right. Looking for a pull back as the rotation seems to be just getting started. High risk as we are still in the bull market. This could be just the bottom. This could be just the pullback. I'll tell you this right now. Do not fall for the trap. Let's go ahead and break this down. So from a yearly standpoint, you can kind of see we got a little bit of a blow off top coming into 2026. And giving us an evening star type of action on the 6 month. And then if we go over the 3 month, this is the one that really caught my attention. when we kind of came back over here, I thought we was going to hold the $400 level, and that $400 level is pretty much giving us a lot of trouble. And this is still that bull market. I'm telling you, like this is still a pullback. So no matter where you put the trend line, if anything, we broke the trend line, but it does not mean we broke the trend unless we get rid of pivots. There's a pivot point here. There's an internal pivot point here that we're testing, but we didn't even penetrate it, let alone break it. So that is the reason why I think that we could easily just push right back up to the upside. So just pay attention. Do not fall for the banana in the tailpipe. All right, so let's go ahead and get back over here. And let's give it a chart. All right, so we got a 1 day. Let's give ourselves a plan. Let's go ahead and put the plan on. I just put templates on. Again, these are suggestions. It's not perfect for the most part. That is what it looks like it wants to do to the upside, but I think we're going to continue to the downside. So that's why I said there could be a sense of a reversal. Make sure I got that right. But if it does fail and then we come back under here, look for 381 to the downside. All right. What that could look like if we go ahead and pull up the oscillators with it. Oh, I didn't put the oscillators here. Let's put MACD for now. If we look at the 2 hour, this is a nice little strong move, but we're coming out of a bearish state of the MACD. So this can really just go ahead and curl over and continue to the downside and sweep the current liquidity and bring us all the way back down to the levels. So that's why I don't want you to just go ahead and just jump into just anything. Let's be smart. Let's do the right things, and we should be A-okay. So let's go ahead and grab this chart and post it out there. Let everybody know what we're looking at. There we go. And send it on the Discord. Put it on the board. There we go. That is there. All right, the next one we got is 3M. Now, 3M is a very interesting company, kind of like Johnson & Johnson. I think I waited too long into 3M versus putting a little bit more oomph into Johnson & Johnson, because Johnson & Johnson took off like a bat out of hell, and this thing looks really, really good. If you have not checked out Johnson & Johnson, I do suggest you do so. So this one is a dominance play, so we're going to go ahead and mark off market dominance. We're going to do this on the weekly. So we got a strong move to the upside, and you can kind of see we should have had a retracement, but that retracement is not happening. If this week, or you could probably pretty much start to scale in possibly, we're probably going to be aiming for that 188 level and push to that upside. If this week actually holds the way I think it is, and the way this daily is kind of giving you that impact, if it starts to fill the gap, that'll be our stop loss. That's probably what we're going to be aiming for. What did they say in their earnings? They're bringing in money. Now, if you don't know about 3M, they got hit with a crazy lawsuit, which was the fact that they had these little earbuds for the Army, and it did not do the ear suppression that they were expecting, created a whole bunch of stir, I should say. And what you got to realize with the market and a lot of these good companies, they have a slush fund for lawsuits. They do. They really do. Johnson & Johnson had theirs with the talcum powder, and then 3M had it with this. So I've always had 3M on my radar for the most part. Oh, wait, what was that? Oh, Lord, they're in the middle of a new litigation. Hold on, let's go ahead and grab this news. If you haven't used the news inside of here, which I can't remember where it is. Oh, it's in here. Right, the news that's inside of here, it's very useful overall. Of course, you want to use whatever you use for news normally, but announces the fees. I'm a little confused. I saw the news say that there is a suit on one side, and then now I don't see it here. Headlines? Huh. Very, very interesting. Okay, so let's go back to the chart. Maybe that was old data. 3M. Maybe that's what they announced during the earnings. That's probably what it is, because it shows the sales growth and the EPS, and that's probably why we don't see it in that news. But let's just put this at the thought. Like, if they're going in the middle of a lawsuit, this is probably not going to be a good one to invest in. But I always wanted to see if we could come right back over to this imbalance somewhere around that 199. So let's call this very high risk, especially after the earnings. And with everything that's said, let's go ahead and pull up OEOS, and let's go ahead and put that. So this is a bot, which is market dominance. Still shorts long trade. I'm not gonna sweep that over to a reversal. 08, 21, 2026. Too many zeros. $200 calls. Let's go with that one. Again, you want to find something that fits your setup. So I'm not here to tell you how to get into the market. I'm just giving you ideas. And if it shows you your setup at the same time, you probably could get some momentum based on those parameters. That is the goal. Okay. I am not here to tell you what to trade. I'm here to give you places that you can trade. Okay. After earnings, looking for this ticker to push to the 190-ish level to rebalance an area after their oh my god, I'm spelling bad. After their announcement of the lawsuit during, I want to say it was 2024. No, 2018. 2018. During 2018. High risk with threat of a new lawsuit. All right, let's put it on the board. Let's get this lined up perfectly. All right, that looks good. Let's bring this down a bit. Let's make this tight. And that 193 will bring us to like 210. Can you imagine this thing get to 210, 200 with a $200 strike? That would really, really push this into the money. So I would say this is a very interesting one. If you don't have the capital to be able to trade a $200 stock like this, go ahead and try to do the verticals, especially with the new PDT rule. You should be in margins anyways. So just go ahead and check this ticker out. This thing looks interesting. Oh, forgot one last thing. Now put it as pending entry. Let's go. How much time I have? All right, let's give it 3 more, give or take. Looks like Costco longs. All right, so we got Costco longs. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. This is Costco. I'm trying to get my charts right. Costco longs. It's in a very interesting buy zone, if you know. So we had a massive sell-off over here, and we're pretty much at the edge of where, if they were to reverse its fate, it would have to be here. You get a nice little push to the upside here, sweeping the sell side liquidity. Then we can attack this vertical line, which is just nothing but gaps and impulsive moves. I think that's very possible. So a nice little entry at our level. Let's go ahead and pull up OEOS and see what that level is. It is. This was a pinky. Let's go ahead and put pinky. Moderate risk, because I do think the market is going to go ahead and rotate, and this might be one, because it's such a high ticket item, they can go ahead and rotate this out. Let's go with the 1K strike. Kind of just overshoot it a bit, but if you can do 950, that would be way better. You get more intrinsic value out of that, and it's a lot safer. Okay, we're going to be pending entry because this is a solid little note here. Wait a minute. Entry price was $9.25. Hold on. Oh, Lord. Oh, this is done. I didn't even realize that. Oh, this is done. Oh, we missed it. Oh, it happened in 2 days, too. Lordy. All right, so we're not pending entry. This is actually TP2. And this was a W. If you were in my premium Discord, you will notice that I do post my AI. You get all of the levels there. So probably some of the members actually went ahead and took it off the bounce and enjoyed some really, really good upside. So by all means, don't forget, click the link down below, be premium so that we can get access to all of the great info. Anyways, moving on. Pinky did it again. Oh, might want to spell again right. Again, got a B line trip to the TP2 and everyone should be happy. All right. And what am I going to do to kind of put this into full circle for y'all so you can understand what is happening here? Listen, at the end of the day, it's just an indication so that way you can get an idea on different type of trade ideas and everything else. My goal is to bring quality information and content to you so that way you can be able to be the best trader out of all when it's all said and done. That said, let me go ahead and let us push that there. Okay, perfect. And let me go ahead and put up Costco. And I would have been on those 821s. I know for a fact it would have been the 821s. Let's pull up this option chain. And I am going to bring this bad boy down to yo. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Alrighty. Here is our Costco option chain. And we would have been in the August 21 or wherever you could find. I'm just being frank with y'all, right? 950 calls was going for, they're going for 2,600 right now. But what was they going for 2 days ago? Let's go ahead and find out. All right, so this is a daily with a 5 minute. Let's go ahead and zoom in. I know there's a way I could expand this, but neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and put this on a 1 hour chart. I guess that would be perfect. All right, so 2 days ago would have been, this is this day. Really, you can't go further back. There we go. All right, so 2 days ago, let's go with a 1 hour chart. And that would have been on the 23rd, on Thursday. That was its base. Oh my God, that was 100%. If you parked in $1,000 into this option contract, which would have been a 950 strike, which had a lot of open interest for its size, you would have made 180% up to that upside and then some. That's amazing. That is amazing. Thank you, Pinky, for a strong call out in that regard. Let's go ahead and keep this party going. So Costco did it well. Ooh, boy. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Let me go ahead and make sure I have that there. It did its job. Let's go ahead and grab that. Copy. Actually, let me look at it in the granular detail. Let's go with a 2 hour. Not in the market right now. I'm almost done with what I'm doing. There we go. There we go. All right, looking good. Boom and boom. What time is it? Looks like I'm missing something in the market. My wife is calling me on that. I guess the market is dropping. CVX, let's do this real quick. And let's see what actually panned out from this one. CVX. Oop, not archive. We don't want to do that. All right, so CVX, it was a trade on a Pinky bot. Pinky bot, pinky bot, pinky bot. I'm pretty sure it's going to be high risk, especially with the straight arm moves in itself. This would have been on the 23rd as well. Let's go ahead and see what happened here. Ooh, it still did its job though. I'm telling you, I gotta check it out. Did it get to TP2? No, but at least it got to TP1. Let's go ahead and put that there. We got ourselves a TP1 hit. I'm not gonna say it's a win because the thing could go ahead and retrace all over. But if you are happy with your premium, that would have been a solid trade in itself. Let's go ahead and make this free trade. Did I do that one as a free trade? I forgot to do that. All right. Pinky with a TP1 win with a bit of TP2 traction. Look for a close below, and this can touch TP2. High risk because they took a lot of profits off. You see that? With that candle pushing all the way up, they could go ahead and reverse this all the way over. So do not just go ahead and just jump into it. But this is exactly what it was. It was a nice little close. Well, actually, no, they did not close. You would have had to have the gumption to carry it over the weekend, and then you would have been locking in profit, probably something like $186 strike, $85 strike, and $190 strike would have been a good printout. If you don't believe me, let's go ahead and do that exercise again. When we go ahead and get ourselves, what did I do with my Thinkorswim? Oh, there it is. It's down there. There we go. We got that Thinkorswim, and let's go ahead and turn off OEOS. You can see that. Actually, I probably didn't see the Costco one. That's what I was talking about. 1100 to 2800. That was its peak at 10 o'clock. This morning. All right, CVX. That's what we're gonna be looking for. CVX on the option chain. We would have went with August 21st again, and we would look at puts. So 185 puts would probably been a little far fetched for the most part. 190 was a better. 190 would have been safer because of the open interest. But 185 would have been not too bad either. So let's go ahead and take a peek on what that contract did. Oh, great googly moogly. Right. So this was the 23rd, right? And on the 23rd, we went ahead and had a very interesting push to that upside, right? Why are you like that? There you go. All right. Right. And then when we got that nice little push to the upside, what happened, right? We got ourselves a reversal, nice little topping pattern, 2 candles, and you had that conviction for that. So you're talking about a contract that was $395 and it shot up to like $620. So another one from PinkyBot that is doing its job. And if you want more information on that, by all means, go ahead, click the link down below, join. 1 entry, 1 shot. So that way you can get this information and make a couple of dollars. All right, let's go ahead and send this out. Burn. Everybody's letting know. All right, let me make sure Costco was actually done the right way. I still had on premium. All right, update the score. Boom. There we go. All right, so that said, I think that's everything that I have for y'all. Let me go ahead and just say thank you for taking the time and actually watching this video because, hey, at the end of the day, it's a lot of work to do all of this. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. That way I can go ahead and get the information and grand content to all your friends and family. And I bid you fine for a while I go over to the market because obviously, I guess I missed the move or whatever. So that said, thank you very much and see you on the next video. Later, y'all.